Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I'm your host, Tina Thompson, and I have just loved the weather lately because it is football weather. So if you can get out to one of the high schools and get to support one of the local teams, I suggest that you do so. There's just nothing like it. I feel like there's that song, Kenny Chesney, Boys of Fall, I think it was. That's exactly what it's been like lately, and it's just, we are so very blessed, folks, to be able to get out and about and do what we do. But I've got a great show I got to get to here in just a minute. Wonderful folks coming up. Michael Tharp, Superintendent of the Lancaster Parks and Recreation. Also a new nonprofit. It is the Fairfield County Foundation. A couple of gals are going to be with me just to share with me everything about what they do for our community, how many years, the history of it, and what they've got. A big, huge campaign going on right now. And as always, it's something that you can help out to make not just their organization, but all of those nonprofits that are involved with their organization as successful as well. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back here in just a couple of minutes. It's Down Home with Tina.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to the Down Home with Tina show. I have got Superintendent of Lancaster Parks and Recreation, Michael Tharp, with me, and he is here to talk about a couple of awesome events. One just a little bit because it's been around for a while. No, I'm kidding. No, but it has been around for a while, but not since 1799, that's for sure. Which, going into that, it's Frontier Spirit 1799. Exactly. Once again, coming up just right around the corner. Michael, what can you share with folks who they absolutely have no idea what that's about?
Frontier Spirit have been in the community since 1979. That's a long time. That's a long run for a volunteer production to do a living history, a reenactment of Lancaster's history of 1799. It moved into Alley Park in 1984, and it's been a staple of Alley Park every year to present, except for,
when nothing was last year.
Exactly.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Yeah, what the same person, Mark Howes, that started Frontier Spirit, Frontier Players, is still involved.
Wow.
So it's an amazing run, an amazing cast. Been modified here and there over the years to kind of keep the interest and do something a little different, and just you never know what to expect.
Right.
You never know who you're going to run into or what they're going to portray. The timeline is always focused right around 1799, which is the founding of Lancaster.
Yep. What are some of the things that folks need to just know for sure about when coming out to Alley Park on September 25th and 26th, I believe?
It's always, yes. This year, 25th, 26th. It's always the very last weekend, full weekend of September. It's free to the public. It's always been free. There is a donation barrels. There's a few of them scattered around if you would like to donate. It doesn't go back to it doesn't go back to Lancaster Parks. It goes to Frontier Players to help sustain, the tents and the props and all of the things they need to do to continue what they do. Yeah. So you don't have to. If you choose to, that's great. But it's a completely free event aside from the food.
Right. Oh, yeah.
The soup beans.
Yeah, because you have a whole area that's separate from walking through to get to see the different scenes of the Frontier Spirit.
Yes. So there's the camp down front, which has the food and that type of stuff, but it also it's very interactive and educational down there. Mm-hmm. You can banter back and forth with a whole cast of characters, and then there's the trail and the cabin and something that is more timeline so they won't break character. They'll keep in their character of $17.99 and try and force you to think in those terms. So it's pretty exciting, and that's why it's lived so long.
Yeah,
it just keeps people on their toes.
Yep, I do recall something. That is an event that you guys highly recommend that you do not bring your pet.
You're exactly right. It's not a pet-friendly environment just because gunfire here and there, demonstrations of firearms. There's the demonstrations of tomahawk throwing, and every now and then somebody scares somebody with a scream or a yell, and it's just not the most pet-friendly place, especially if you've got a bigger dog that's a little hyper or high-strung or something like that. But yeah, please leave the pets at home. It's just not the place for them.
Kid-friendly, but maybe
heavens,
little kids, they may not like it. Might hurt their ears and the sound and the scream.
Yeah,
You think I'm talking
possibly.
Like babies?
Yes, you're exactly right.
And you're going through a trail. So how long is the trail?
So the trail this year is not going to happen. What we're going to do is they've got a stationary scene this year at the cabin. They didn't know what to expect. You know, the groups we always push through are 50 and 60 people in a group. And with kind of the restrictions of today and putting that many people together out on a trail, we just weren't sure what we were going to get into there. So the cabin scene, we can do that a few times during the day and bring all of the cast to the cabin and do it in that manner, more like a play atmosphere, or a stage.
Nice. So it's not going to be rough terrain or anything, so anybody can come, anybody,
very
wheelchair, handicapped accessible, all of that. That is awesome. I love that. Yeah, good.
And if you've got a little one that's a little squirmy or something, you have the ability to pick them up and go to the back and
or go to the camps.
Or go to the camp. Yeah,
and entertain
you
them
can
there.
get out. Or the trail, if you remember, you couldn't get off of the trail.
You were there.
Yeah, you
really
have those
no going
abilities
back.
now.
So, oh, cool. Okay, so anybody want to stay up to date on that? They just go to your Facebook page, right? Lancaster Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's on Lancaster Parks and Rec. It's also on Frontier Spirit, has a website also that will guide you through all you need to know about.
Okay, and then in October you have got something else, and this is only the second year, but of course it was a couple of years ago that you had introduced it to the community. And what is that?
It gives me goosebumps. I mean, it really does, because the first year I ever got to see it, and you know, most people have been to a Renaissance festival, but this is not a Renaissance festival. Okay. This is medieval living history. So picture the medieval period, and it goes from the Saxon Viking era clear up through the 1600s. And a lot of people don't realize in the 1600s there were still knights. A little different, they morphed a little bit in the armament, what they wore. But anyhow, so you walk into Alley Park and you come up around the parking lot, and in front of you starts with the Roman and the Saxon era of knights. And it walks you through clear up from the 1600s. It's a timeline that you walk, but their play on this is purely educational. So everything's going to be historically accurate.
Nice.
Everything that you can talk to them and ask them questions, and they're not going to stay in character. They're going to tell you why they use the armor they wear, the chainmail, the swords, the food, everything about medieval, which is fascinating. It's romantic almost. Everything romanticizes around, you know, the knights and shining armor and that type of stuff, and slaying dragons and having fun. But it's so educational. It just blew me away.
So will they be interacting with one another, like jousting and things like that as well? Or
so the jousting we're looking at bringing in 2022, but the knights actually fight. So full dressed knights with the swords, the big long swords that are like 5 foot long, and they actually use those, and they do mock battles in a ring, and it is fascinating to watch. It's almost as fun to watch them get in and out of that stuff. Mm-hmm. It takes so long. It probably takes them an hour to get it on.
Oh my goodness.
And then they fight for 10 minutes maybe, wear themselves out, and then it takes them a while to get it back off.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating.
I bet. What days and what is to be expected? Are groups going to be coming in and through?
Yeah, so this is all held in the front of the park.
Okay.
So as you come into the park, as you enter the area in the front of Alley Park, it's very much a trail and a timeline that you'll be kind of pushed into. Not like a cattle drive, but similar to a cattle drive. When you start in, you're starting in with the Roman era, And
Okay,
the Romans
and
actually
just
have all of the shields and the swords, and they do drills all day long.
Okay.
And then you meander through into the next period and the next one and the next one. And then 2 or 3 times a day, and I haven't heard their schedule yet, they will put all of their people in the center of the common area, and they will actually educate you. This is from this period, this is why he has this on, or she has this on. That's a gotcha too.
Yeah.
So there are females in this group that dress in armor, and it is correct.
Now, will there be food and things like that available?
So what we do for food is we have a food trailer in the front of the park for people to go down there and kind of hang out, but there's no food that's available. It's period correct type food, no.
Okay. We'll have to make that happen in the future. You know me. I'm that person a couple of years ago before you guys did the ball drop and you were going to do the glass balls. I was like, come on, Michael, why can't you do it now? Like, come on, let's make it happen now.
Yes.
I know. But how cool. I just think of the medieval times when I went to see that and you sit in the stands and you eat with your fingers and there's no silverware. And I just, that would be something really cool. You have to have a whole lot of paper towels.
So what we're looking at in 2022 is actually
Yeah.
trying to bring some of their group up and serve people in the lodge and eat with. So if you had a table of 8 that you reserved, there's 7 of you and 1 of them, and you would get to converse with them through your entire dinner, and the dinner would be themed. So that's a possible 2022 event for Lancaster Park. So
yeah. So
stay tuned for that one.
that's right. Yeah, you know me. My brain's always kind of thinking forward for you guys as well. So anything else that we've missed? We've got about a minute.
Not really. We're, all of these events are free, and Lancaster Parks, we try and do everything we can to keep people gathered and active in recreation and events like this, and try and keep it free.
Yes.
And it's the levies that we pass that support that, and it's a great thing.
Absolutely, yeah, because I don't know about you, but it was just during the COVID thing, the one thing we learned about is getting out in our parks was one of the things we were allowed to do. And if we wouldn't have had that, what would we have done? Probably gone stir crazy in our homes.
We did. Yes.
And yeah, so anyways, folks, I think you get my drift. Thank you so much. Follow the Lancaster Parks and Recreation on their Facebook page, and you can stay up to date on all the things. Yeah. We've only touched a couple of things. I am going to be on location and doing something for the pumpkin hike in October, which I'm really excited about that, because we're going to have a whole lot of talking about messy stuff. That's going to be a whole lot of messy, but it'll be a whole lot of fun.
Too.
Yeah, so we're going to meet again. Folks, I'll be right back. You're watching Downtown with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back. It's the Down Home with Tina show. Excited because I have a new couple of gals who are on with the Fairfield County Foundation. The executive director, her name is Eyman, and also the donor services officer, Sarah Stoughton. And I'm just thrilled to find out about what you guys do. Ladies, I have known about you for, oh goodness, it's got to be 10 or 11 years at least. Am I right? Is that a little bit? I know, Amy, you're going to share the history of it.
Yeah.
At least, right?
Yeah, we've been around for 31 years.
So absolutely, it's been that. And I think it's just because when I was involved with a fundraiser
Okay.
and an event, and it was through you guys. And so that was the first time I heard about it. And I think, honestly, a lot of people who have fundraisers, maybe not at first they know about you, but somebody will introduce them, but you're going to be the ones to share all about that, because I have absolutely no idea what it is that you guys do other than you help folks and be that.
Right.
That what, Amy?
So we're a lot of things to a lot of different people. We work with individual donors to help them meet their philanthropic goals, what they want to do, what they want to give back to the community. We work with nonprofits that apply for grants through us, and then we work with students to apply for scholarships. So students in Fairfield County going on to college can apply to us for scholarship money. We also work with nonprofits through helping them build their endowments and fundraisers, which is what you were talking about. So we're a lot of things to a lot of people.
Must you have a nonprofit and be a nonprofit in order to go
so
that
you
route?
have to be a nonprofit to apply for a grant, yes.
Okay.
We do have some entities that we work with that they work with like another nonprofit as their fiscal agent, but we mostly work with nonprofits, yes.
Okay, because I think I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, like if a check would be written out to, then it would be to you guys, but in the little memo, it would be to that specific fundraiser.
Right,
Does
exactly.
that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So we do work with a lot of different groups on fundraisers, and there are a lot of groups out there that do fundraisers and raise money for really great things in our community, but they aren't nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
So to allow donors to make donations to those organizations or those causes, they can make the donation to us because we are a nonprofit, and then we write the checks on behalf of that group.
Why was Fairfield County Foundation even created?
Yeah, so we were created in 1989, and Judge Farrell Jackson was the probate judge at that time, and he saw monies from different estates and trusts going to Franklin County because there was no entity in Fairfield County to hold those funds.
Wow.
So thankfully he had the foresight to start a community foundation here in Fairfield County. Almost, I think, all 88 counties, almost all counties in the state of Ohio have a community foundation. And, there's hundreds of them throughout the country. The very first community foundation was in Ohio, and that's the Cleveland Foundation. So we serve Fairfield County. There's a Hocking County Foundation. Athens has a great community foundation. So we were established so that we could accept those estate gifts and we could benefit our residents and keep the money here local. So kudos to him for starting this so many years ago, 31 years ago.
Yeah, being aware of what we're missing out on getting and doing for our own community.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have almost $65 million in assets now. So, what started as a $5,000 gift has just grown over the past, I guess it's almost 32 years. So in 1989. So yeah, we've grown tremendously. And over those years, we've given out grants and scholarships as well. So
with those funds?
Yes, with those funds.
Oh my goodness. So how can one apply for things like that?
So we have 3 grant cycles throughout the year. One is in January, one is in the spring, summer months. We award in July. And then our fall deadline is this coming Monday. Okay. And the nonprofits go through a preliminary application, which is just a 1-page. Okay. And then our committee looks at that and invites individuals back. We have a whole set of grant guidelines with our application. Individuals or nonprofits can find that on our website, which is fairfieldcountyfoundation.org. And they apply, and we have a grant committee. They actually go out to the site and review the project, and then we award. And we typically award over $1 million a year.
Oh my goodness!
In grant money. So yeah, it's exciting. I always say the best part of my job is giving the money away, and it's not my money. It's the generous donors that we've had in this community.
So is that how you get your funds, is through donors specifically? I know that you have something going on, a campaign right now. Have you ever had any other campaigns or fundraisers before this?
No, we don't typically do campaigns. we don't want to compete with the nonprofits that we're here to help, so we don't do like a yearly campaign. We are in the middle of one now, and I know you're going to ask Sarah about that. But no, we work with families, individuals, the generous donors in our community that want to give back and continue giving back. We get a lot of estate gifts, so people will give money so that they can continue to support the causes and the organizations they care about even after they're gone. So it's we have so many generous people in the community and have had in the past, leaving large amounts of money to the foundation to benefit these nonprofits into the future, which is wonderful.
And I love it. And I think as most of my folks who watch the show know, I have a lot of the nonprofits on my show because I want people to get the word out, get their word out about, why they're doing it, their passion for it, and what's behind it. And it takes a whole lot to do it. So those grants just, I know, means tons to what you guys are doing. And you're doing something, Sarah, now. Sarah Stoughton, she is a donor services officer, and it's called 365, right? Very first campaign.
365, yes. Yeah. We've never run a campaign before. Amy mentioned, before we started it, we've never really had a reason to have a campaign. And, what kind of, got us to start this is COVID. And when COVID hit, we, our nonprofits, there were gaps that needed to be filled. We were able to raise over $150,000 in just a couple of months that we then turned around and granted to 45 different nonprofits in Fairfield County. So, COVID obviously brought up a lot of unexpected costs for those nonprofits. So we were able to kind of step in and fill in those gaps and really, give them, the extra boost that they needed during that time. So we kind of piggybacked off of that, and we're like, the need for unrestricted dollars changes every day, every month, every year. 10 years down the road, it'll be different than it is today. So we really wanted to have, a way that everyone in Fairfield County could get involved. They could donate to this campaign. It's all unrestricted dollars. So, these nonprofits can apply to it for, anything that might come up that they need. So, that was the mission to get it started, and we've had a really great response so far. The whole concept is give $1 a day. And it's a way that, younger donors can get involved, and you don't have to have, a huge amount of money to give. You can just give simply $1 a day. So we really wanted to get that, that message out there.
And if people can give $10, $15, $20, $30, or $100, you're okay with that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how do they do it? Is there some place that they go sign up and they make a commitment to you to do?
So a lot of donors will mail checks in, or they'll stop in and drop a check off. We also have an online donation portal where donors can go on and use a credit card. They can either do a one-time donation or a recurring donation. So there's options there as well.
On the website?
Yeah.
What's the website?
Yeah, at fairfieldcountyfoundation.org. Actually, our homepage right now is all pretty much dedicated to Give 365 and how you can make a donation.
How long has it been going?
Just since June 21st, and we're doing it through next year. But as Sarah said, we wanted to use it as a way to get new donors, even younger donors, involved in the foundation. You don't have to have $1 million. You don't have to have $10,000. Anybody can give.
Is there a place that folks can go see and how you've made a difference in our community in the 31 years? Do you have anything on your website?
Yep. So on our website,
this is what we've done.
Yeah. On our website, there's a section where we put all of our annual reports. Each year we put out a big annual report showing who we made grants to, who got scholarships, who gave money. That's all listed there. And you can see we have over 400 funds at the foundation that make up that $65 million that I was talking about. And each fund is listed in that annual report and what they are, what it is, and what it does for the community. So you can definitely go there and look at that.
And folks, because I know it would be really, really hard for you guys to be a hub of showing different pictures of these fundraisers, you go to that report, you're going to see the names of these nonprofits, and you can go right to their Facebook pages or whatnot to see what it is and the amazing differences that each of those nonprofits is, if you really want to get into the finding out where it's going and who it's going to.
Right.
Amy, Sarah, I know I'm out of time.
It's all right.
I just thank you ladies so much for taking the
Thanks so
time.
much.
Good luck, $365,000, and give 365 days. That is their goal, and I certainly hope that you all can help out and make a difference. Follow them on their website and Facebook as well.
Right.
Yep. Right.
Thank you for having
you.
us.
Yes. Thank you so much, and I got goodies for you, so don't let me forget.
Okay,
I have
great.
to remind folks of that. Folks, I'll be back in just a minute. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Blue Carroll Bulldogs.
It was a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions. First time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
Very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
Down Home with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. And folks, you can not only watch Down Home with Tina at CLN, your hometown connection, on YouTube, but Spectrum CLN 1021, as well as my Facebook page, Down Home with Tina. You can also, I invite you to go to my website. I put a blog every once in a great while on there of some kind of story that I like to share, but I mostly give you my stories here on the show itself. And with that being said, I have got a story. I have to share this story with you, and I have debated on sharing it because I use a word that I don't usually use in public, especially on my show. And anyways, but it made me laugh so hard, so I hope it puts a smile on your face. So one evening I was coming home and it was about 10 o'clock, so of course it was dark outside, and I come walking around the one side of my house, and as I come walking around the one side of my house, my neighbor is with his little dog is walking about from the front to the side of my house, and I yelled out when I saw him, "Is your dog crapping in my yard?" And the funniest thing, like without a beat, he goes, "No, but I just did." And you guys, I laughed so hard. I laughed for like 5 minutes. But here's the karma about all of that, right? And what he was doing though, he was so kind. He said, "I know it's late, but I was bringing some eggs because a fella comes into where he works and brings eggs. So he will bring me eggs sometimes because he likes to help the fella too. And I'll pay him for him and such." Well, anyways, he goes, "I know it's kind of late." He goes, "But I saw some lights behind your house and I thought I'd check them out." Here I am. I about scared him. I really seriously think he about jumped out of his shoes. But I laughed for 5 minutes. I went in the house. I had to call my daughter to tell my daughter. I told people because it was a really funny thing. But the karma of all of it is that one time he was outside or something, and we always talk about my yard because it's a hot mess. And he's a florist. So I walked down to his yard. So my dog decided to defecate in his yard. Not once, but 2 different times I was down there. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and it goes along with my story and my positive quote. Always be kind to people, because someday if your dog decides to do like my dog did, your wonderful neighbor will just be like, "It's okay, I'll clean it up." But I wouldn't let it happen more than twice. However, I've got a sign that I have here today, and it's called Choose Kindness. So no matter what you do in life, always be kind to somebody else, because you never know what kind of situation you may be coming down the road. Because I know when it comes down to it, my neighbor and I consider him as a friend, and he's a nice person. So just be kind and choose kindness. I hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the Down Home with Tina show. God bless and good day, and I'll see you next time.